Growing up in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Southside Chicago, Derrick Rose had two options. One, to be a criminal, or to listen to his brothers and play basketball. Well, we know which path he chose, but back then, that choice wasn't so clear.
The good, the bad, the ugly. Me and my family, my brothers know that no matter what, we got each other back.
So just how important was Derrick Rose's family to his success? A lot more important than you think. Let's go find out, because this is Derrick Rose's family, and this is Basketball Dive. You can't talk about Derrick Rose and his family without talking about Englewood. It all begins and ends in here, in a town that was once described by one of its residents as, quote, "There's too much violence and you don't know which way the bullets are going to come from." I don't know about you, but that sent chills down my spine. However, this was the neighborhood Rose was born and raised in, a neighborhood ravaged by drug dealers and gun violence.
Chicago is a city in crisis right now, from the chaos we saw downtown this past weekend to the rise in violent crime.
A community where the poverty rate was 46% and the unemployment rate stood at 20% back in 2010. Englewood is a neighborhood in Chicago, Illinois, and Brenda and her husband first moved there in 1973 with their three sons, Dwayne, Reggie, and Alan. Derrick Rose would later join the family on October 4th, 1988. But Englewood, as terrible as it sounds, had miraculously given an exception to Derrick, like a rose sprouting out in the midst of stubborn weeds. For example, the court where Rose and his friends played basketball was considered a safe zone. So even when there was a shooting nearby, they continued to play basketball. This court was located inside Murray Park and was nicknamed Murder Park.
Murray, aka Murder Park.
Rose talked about this one time when he said, quote, "When there's a shooting, people usually run, but in our neighborhood it was kind of regular, so you'd keep on hooping. I know that sounds crazy." End quote. Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Growing up, while he tried to stay out of trouble and be a good kid, his grandma gave him the name Pooh Bear because, according to his mother, he had skin as yellow as Winnie the Pooh. But while he was getting nicknames and trying to make sense of his environment, his father, whose name is not even known for sure, was MIA. But Derrick said he was never bitter about his father's absence, and if anything, he took it as motivation to achieve everything his father couldn't achieve.
Like, I took it as like motivation, where it's like, nigga, I'm gonna smash everything that he even wanted to dream about.
Derrick once revealed that the only memory he has of his father was when he came into the house one day and presented him with a huge toy truck.
The only image that I remember of my dad was him coming in and like an image. I don't even remember his face or what he had on. Him giving me a toy, like a huge truck.
But after that, he ghosted the family, leaving Brenda to raise four sons alone. But how did Brenda do it? How did she raise her sons in such a dangerous neighborhood? The eldest child of her parents, Brenda Rose has three younger brothers. We're not sure what their names are, but Derrick revealed in an interview that when she was growing up, she used to beat up people who messed with her brothers, and even up till this day, her brothers are still scared of her.
So she going over there beating broads up. So like my uncles and them scared of her. Like to this day, like scared of my mom. I mean, she an old lady now.
The tough love she would later shower on her kids was developed during this time. Brenda was around 14 or 15 years old when she dropped out of high school after getting pregnant with her first child, Reggie.
She dropped out of school at 14, 15. That's when she had my oldest brother.
Without any diploma or college degree, she could only work as an assistant with any boards of education that had a job open. And sometimes the wages didn't come in, which meant she had to go through a whole month in debt. She couldn't afford a private home and had to raise her four sons in a 5-bedroom apartment that had 13 people in it. And according to Rose, about 6 of these people were drug addicts. This meant that the young Derrick always found used needles, pipes, or cigarette butts idling on the floor, which he would usually take to his mom or grandma out of curiosity.
I remember stories of finding crack pipes, taking it to my grandma, like asking her, "What's this?" There's no way I should have been in that environment.
While trying to talk her child out of doing drugs or becoming an addict himself, she struggled to feed her family, and this was the only push Derrick needed to get up every day and head to the court. Rain or shine, it didn't matter to Derrick. Even if it was snowing, Derrick was out there shoveling snow off the ground, anything just to get to the NBA and create a better life for him and his mom. But even the most motivated sometimes fall astray. While basketball wasn't paying yet, Derrick hit the streets and started gambling.
I had a gambling problem. That was the only way I could hustle without getting hurt.
He would shoot hoops from street to street, getting paid for winning, and when off court, he would shoot dice. He caught his mom on several occasions crying over mountains and mountains of bills from the family mailbox and just wanted to help her out. And get this, he wasn't even 10 yet. And as young as Derrick was, he also had an entrepreneurial side in addition to his hoop talents. When local shoe companies would hand him free shoes for just being good at basketball, he would trade them for some cash and run home to give his mother what he had earned. But that was only if he didn't get cornered by a dice game on his way home. But thankfully, things changed for the better and Derrick quit gambling, so instead of throwing dice on the ground to make ends meet, Derrick started throwing his mother kisses from the Bulls' home court many years later. Brenda was always present to cheer her son on and throw him some kisses back too. Quote, "The best thing I like about it that he can throw me my kiss and I throw it back to him," Brenda once said. She is a mother who completely adores her son, and Derrick confirmed this adoration when he said, quote, "My mom is kind of obsessed with me. You go into the basement and she's got like a shrine of me throughout the whole basement," end quote. This basement, by the way, is located in the house Rose bought for her after receiving his first contract. Oh yeah, Derrick is a mama's boy for sure. When he received numerous accolades, he would save the most important part of his speech to thank and recognize his mom, and when things went haywire, such as his tragic injuries and the unexpected trade out of Chicago, he would always go to his mother for comfort. Mama Brenda was always there for her Pooh Bear. But it wasn't all rosy between mother and child. When Pooh did something nasty, his mama also had to deal with him. One time when Derrick was still in senior year and yet to get into college, he started talking about skipping college entirely so he could get drafted immediately. He was also staying out late and basically disrespecting his mom. His insistence on leaving mama's house and playing in the NBA was, according to him, because he wanted to get his family out of poverty as quickly as he could. But Brenda wasn't at all happy with that idea or his behavior, so one day she set the record straight on who the head of the house is by throwing his TV down the stairs and telling him to get out of her house.
One day she went upstairs and like threw my TV down the stairs. And that's when I knew like I gotta chill.
But Derrick quickly learned that he had hurt the most important person in his life and had to patch things up. And thank God he did, because Mama Brenda continued to be his anchor right into his NBA career. Nevertheless, none of it would have been possible without her other sons, who all acted like fathers and protectors to Derrick. The brothers of Derrick had first-hand knowledge of how superstars can have their careers cut short before they even begin. For example, in 1984, a certain high school basketball superstar by the name of Benji Wilson was fatally shot during lunch break, ending his career. Sadly, this was the kind of scenario to expect. If you were a youngster from Chicago with a lot of promise, chances are, if you're not lucky enough, the street, shoe companies, and/or scouting agents would send you down the road of regrets and disappointments, or even death. So Derrick's brothers made sure to protect him with everything they had. He became like Fort Knox, heavily guarded by his brothers to the point that people became worried that they were over-controlling the youngster and using him to their own benefit. But it didn't matter what people thought, and luckily their mother supported them fully, especially when it came to basketball. Because she wasn't familiar with the game, she let her sons deal with all the brands and agents that called their home line to speak to her about Derrick. She was quoted as saying, quote, "His brothers knew basketball. I didn't. I told them to handle it," end quote. Allen and Dwayne Rose were very instrumental in Derrick's life. They were vocal in the decision of the school their brother would attend and the kind of people he rolled with, and they took turns on who picked Derrick up from school. Dwayne confirmed this when he said, quote, "When we were looking at high schools for Derrick, we looked at how many gang areas he'd have to go through to get to school. We looked at the neighborhoods around the school. We talked about how many friends he would have there who would look out for him," end quote. But you see, Reggie, their eldest brother, well, he was literally in charge of Derrick's life. Reggie Rose is the eldest brother of Derrick, his senior by over 13 years. He is the heir apparent of the Rose name and the one who did the best to act in the absence of their father. He was a machine operator for Pepsi at some point, but he was also involved in a lot of criminal dealings such as selling drugs that eventually got him arrested. It wasn't until his youngest brother started getting a lot of attention that he reconsidered his career path before deciding to look after his brother fully. He became Derrick's manager of sorts and was in charge of dealing with the endless agents that inquired about him. Together with his younger brothers Alan and Dwayne, they protected Derrick from gangs, drugs, officials, and basically anyone that they perceived as dangerous. Reggie only allowed Derrick to speak to the media maybe once a season, pointing out that, quote, kids start reading about themselves too much and get an ego, end quote. He also prevented Derrick from giving his phone number out to anybody, and when they would ask Derrick, he would give Reggie's number instead. Then people started getting pissed by the overprotectiveness of his brothers and called them out for exploiting him, but Reggie recalls telling them, quote, they'd say we were looking to make money off our brother. I told them no one is going to pimp Derrick, but if anybody is going to pimp him, it's going to be his family, end quote. I honestly just feel like Reggie was being what any protective father would be for their kid. What do you think? Moving on, Reggie had also disciplined his younger brothers the hard way, such as grounding them, or even as extreme as beating them. There was a time he had to beat Dwayne after he told their mom he wasn't going to go to college. Derrick admitted that when he saw the way Dwayne got his butt whooped, he knew he had to go to college too.
Beating him up, come to find out, he told my mom that he wasn't going to college. He got a scholarship and he wasn't going to college. So I'm like, damn, it's a standard was set, like, yeah. Check, I'm going to college.
Additionally, when Reggie saw that the attention and hunt for Derrick's talent were getting too much, he set up his own AAU team and became its coach. It was during this time that Reggie almost got into a fight with Jeff Goodman, who was the lead college basketball reporter for ESPN. It had happened when they were losing by 30 points against Grassroots Canada. Reggie annoyingly pulled out his team after a bad call by the ref, but Goodman wasn't pleased, and the two almost came to blows but were luckily separated. But while Reggie appeared to be Derrick's knight in shining armor, because of him, Derrick was almost not drafted by the Bulls. They concluded that they didn't want anything to do with someone with a criminal past like Reggie's and were going to pick Michael Beasley over Derrick Rose, but Derrick told them that if they didn't accept his brother for the way he was, he wouldn't want to play for them anyway. So the Bulls accepted him, actually.
He might not be the number one pick because of some mistakes I made in my life. But Derrick told the Chicago Bulls, if you can't accept my brother, don't pick me.
And with that acceptance came a lot of responsibilities and benefits for Reggie. He continued to look out for Derrick by being his manager and also by standing up for him. Like that one controversial occasion when he called out the Bulls management for failing to provide Rose with quality players to play with. He also earned a lot of money by managing Derrick himself. In 2018, long after Derrick's career had taken an unfortunate dive due to injury, Reggie came into the news for earning as much as $250,000 every year for the $190 million Adidas deal that Derrick signed for 14 years. But Reggie was not the only beneficiary of the deal. Derrick's best friend Randall Hampton also enjoyed between $50,000 and $75,000 every year from 2011 to 2015. Randall Hampton has been Derrick's friend since 6th grade and is an assistant to Rose and a former consultant to Adidas. He was one of the two people, including Derrick, that was accused of a sexual altercation including drugs with a woman in 2013, but they were found not liable to the accusations and set free. The woman who accused them was an ex-girlfriend of Derrick, Miss Monica Los Rios. However, there are others Rose dated, but the official ones are Micah Reese and Elena Anderson. Micah Reese and Derrick reportedly dated between 2007 and 2013 and have a son together named Derrick Rose Jr. Reese is a popular figure online of sorts, known for not just being an ex-girlfriend of Derrick Rose, but also a designer and influencer with almost 300,000 followers on Instagram. But aside from this info, not much is known about her. And then there's Elena Anderson. Elena Anderson was born in 1994 to Angela and Anthony Anderson. Not much is known about her background, but after graduating from the University of Illinois, she started her own personal brand, KIC, or Kept It Cute, which caters to anything fitness, beauty, and health. She's popular online for being a fitness and fashion personality and model, but is best known for being the queen to Derrick Rose's king.
She changing my whole. I met her, some told me, grow your lock, grew my lock, holding my energy.
They started dating in 2016, and Derrick attributes part of his growth to his relationship with her. In fact, she had changed him a great deal, according to him. According to the NBA legend, Elena was the reason he started keeping dreads because, as she said, she believed it was a way to keep his energy locked in. She was always there to challenge Derrick and to calm him down when it looked like he was going too fast and too far. And Derrick admits that this is one of the reasons why he loves her so much. Derrick also said in an interview that he knew he wanted to marry her when she agreed to leave Cleveland with him for Mexico during his tough time in the city.
I'm done with this. I'm finna go to Mexico. You gonna come with me? She, no disagreeing. She saw my pain. I'ma ride.
She was later engaged to Rose in 2021 during a private dinner they held on the court at Madison Square Garden. The lover boy had ringed her finger with a huge diamond and took her to the altar in an undisclosed wedding ceremony. They both have 2 children, a daughter named Layla and a son named London. Layla is the first child Derrick and Elena had in February of 2018. Layla is another internet star of her own with over 22,000 followers on Instagram, where her parents post pictures and videos of her adorable self, her family, but most especially of her and her youngest brother, London. Damn, 22,000 followers. I don't even have 8,000 followers myself. What about you? Let me know in the comments section, maybe we can follow each other. Nevertheless, London is next. London was born in May 2019 and also has an online presence of his own. An Instagram account with 10,000 followers run, again, of course, by his parents. London looks like he is going to take the path of basketball or tennis, as he has shown interest in both sports early. Which do you think he's going to pick in the end, though? Anyway, as the kids grow, their parents also seem to be doing a great job in nurturing them in the world of fame. But there's one kid we have not talked about yet. He is the most popular kid of Derrick and Reese. Derrick Rose Jr. is probably one of the most famous popular internet kids in the world. His funny facial expressions have become internet memes, and I'm sure one of these memes is literally on your phone gallery right now. Derrick was born on October 9, 2012 when his pops was suffering through injuries. He is famously known as PJ, which stands for Pooh Jr., named after his father's nickname. PJ came into the limelight early when he was 1 as he appeared with his father at a Chicago Cubs game where they both threw out the first pitch. Then the kid broke the news yet again when he met Kobe Bryant during his last NBA season. All of this has led him to amass hundreds of thousands of followers, with his Instagram following being more than 160K. And check it out, PJ is not camera shy one bit and looks to have taken the path of hooping just like his father, and he's already showing great potential in basketball. One of the pieces of advice his father gave him early in his life was for him to make basketball his first girlfriend, just like he had done growing up.
And I have a relationship with this ball that's my first girlfriend. That's what I'm telling my son. Like, that gotta be your first girlfriend, bro.
Derrick has also disclosed in an interview that he tries to replicate the tough nature of his young basketball days, where he had to play like he was being guarded even when he was alone, and when he was actually being guarded, he played without any foul calls. He also said that he never hides anything from his son just to ensure that he is well prepared for what lies ahead, especially if he becomes a star like him someday.
Was I lying? I was gonna bring him. I don't hide nothing from my son. I put him in them environments so that like he see what it is.
That said, PJ is also quite close to London and Layla, even though they share separate mothers. They spend a lot of quality time together, and this quickly reminds me of Dwayne Wade's kids and the story about his family, which would shock you. Go check it out here. But that's all the time we have for today. Make sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe for more content about NBA stars and their families.